All right. Shema Yasha'Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Achad, Shema Yasha'Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Achad, Shema Yasha'Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Achad. Right? Hey, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Chai Kudash. I want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the house of David the elect. All right. I'm Zahad, Spirit Wind Judah, and today I want to go into a live stream entitled Satan's packages come with crappy deals, man. All right, it comes with a crappy outcome, man. All right. One thing that we study in GMS, and one thing the spirit of wisdom, all right, gives us a spirit of understanding. Then the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai gives us a spirit of understanding. Is nature. You know, we study nature. I myself, I'm a lover of nature. You know, through the spirit, I wish I could get into it more. All right. Shalom, shalom to you Akim and you Akwathim. All right. Through the spirit, I want to get into it more. Okay. But we study the nature, and everything has a nature. All right. The spiritual demon Satan has a nature. Esau Edom, which is the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, he has a nature. All right. Eve has a nature. Okay. Humans in general have a nature. We as individuals have a nature to ourselves. So one thing that the spirit of wisdom, all right, it gets into nature. All right. Before I get into this live stream, I want to give a quick disclaimer. A couple of weeks ago, I was doing a live stream, and about a month ago, somebody hit me up on a live stream that apparently knew me personally. And then when I did another live stream a few weeks later, they hit me back up on a live stream saying they've been trying to get in contact with me. So I told that person to put their Gmail on YouTube. Now I don't do private sessions and nothing like that, consultations, but I told that person because apparently they knew me personally. All right, they knew me personally, they knew my name and all that. So I told them to send a Gmail to me, but that was only to that person, you know. So I pretty much just keep it general on my page. I just wanted to say that. But going back, I think his name was Anthony Judah or something like that. But going back to this topic, all right, Satan's packages come with the crappy outcome, man. All right. See, that's why the scripture says the righteous are more excellent than his neighbor, but the way of the wicked seduce him. But if you go into the word way, that word way, it really goes into like the lifestyle of the wicked, man. All right. All right. We're not supposed to envy. And that's why the scripture says, envy not the oppressor and choose none of his ways, man. Westernization, Christianity, democracy, the spirit of liberty, all right, which liberty is really subliminally rebellion from Yahweh Shema Shai. Who are you being liberated from? You're being liberated from the ways of your father, all right? But the nature of Satan, whether it's a spiritual demon Satan or Esau Edom, which is his physical counterpart, all right, his physical incarnate, not counterpart, but his physical incarnate, all right, is all about seduction and seducing you to basically seducing you to have a shitty outcome, a crappy outcome, man. All right, and one example of that is the feminist movement, right? The feminist movement, that was seductive, man, but nothing is beneficial is going to be seductive. Anything that's beneficial is probably going to cause discipline. It's probably going to be the opposite of seduction, man. So Esau Edom seduced our women through the feminist movement, all right, but it was seductive. That he told you that, you know, you being just a domestic housewife, that was a servant. You know what I mean? You were oppressed. You didn't tell yourself that. He told you that. And he set up Gloria Steinfeld, however you say her name. All right, she was set up by the CIA. But that was the that philosophy was a strange woman. All right. But when you go into Proverbs and it goes into that strange woman, that's symbolic for a philosophy, but that philosophy is seductive. Now, if you actually go into A strange woman is really a woman she's a whore, or she's a free spirit. All right, she's not domesticated. All right, but they have the same nature. They don't want to be under anybody's rule, man. All right, but the spirit of feminism, no seduction to the women of our nation, not just the so-called, not just the Southern Kingdom, but also the Northern Kingdom eventually, man. All right, there was a spirit of seduction, and the way you know that it came from Satan, because it engendered a crappy outcome, man. Now you have women for the past 50 years, they've excelled in a college arena. They've got all type of degrees, man. All right, but they have failed marriages. If your marriage failed, then your nation is in trouble. If you're not reproducing with another man within the family unit, then your nation was in trouble, man. See, back in our homeland, Jerusalem, marriage was a big deal, man. You know, back in our homeland, Jerusalem, marriage was a come up. The way the Most High set up the bond between a man and a woman, that festival and that feast, that was a come up, because the son would a lot of times get an inheritance, all right, from his father-in-law, because the father-in-law wouldn't pass down the inheritance to his daughter, so half of his inheritance would go to his son-in-law. But then that son-in-law would get the inheritance from his biological father. All right. You know how many gifts and stuff were exchanged during marriages, man? If you study a lot of cultures, marriage was a come up, man. You watch the movie Goodfellas, you know how much the main character, I forget his name, when he got married, man, they had so much money passed down to him. You watch the movie Godfather, I think there was a movie Godfather, they had that marriage. It was like $50,000 in gifts. All right. Marriage was what you get in a degree, or what you aspire to get from a degree, being a radical individual, being a narcissistic, self-serving individual. You could have got that and more getting married, man. Hey, you right. Vengeance of his temple. The book of Tobit, that was a major come up. That was a major come up, because this is how you function as a self-sufficient nation, man. We weren't under no goddamn Edom in our homeland, Jerusalem. This is how you practice economy, man. So, but what happened in America? Esau seduced you out of your kingdom, because Esau seduced our woman into help overthrowing Adam. Esau didn't give a fuck about you. He wanted to overthrow Adam. The serpent didn't give a fuck about Eve. He just wanted to overthrow Adam's kingdom, man. Adam had a kingdom, all right, and he had structure. So all he did was take the structure and order out of Adam's kingdom, man. All right. Same thing on this side, man. We were building things, all right, that was in captivity. We were building kingdoms in captivity. Rosewood was a kingdom. All right. Black Wall Street, Durham, North Carolina was a kingdom. But either it was a physical overthrow or it was a legislative overthrow, man, to where we couldn't build, man. So Esau, Edom, Satan, he seduced our women into basically hopping over to his side, as opposed to being compliant with our way, man. All right. But like going back to the book of Tobit, all right, Tobit's son Tobias, all right, he inherited his father's-in-law's wealth, all right, and he inherited his father Tobit's wealth. So that was a major come up. All right. So now, because of the feminist movement, because the feminist movement wasn't just about getting careers, it was also about sexual liberty, all right, and saying men and women are equal. So one thing that entailed was a woman, more openly divorced their husbands, usually because he had another woman, which is natural, or a woman could choose how many sexual encounters she wanted to have. She could choose who she wanted to have sex with, and he didn't have to be a family man. So women no longer had the obligation to start a family at an early age. They no longer chose family men at an early age. This is why they wait till they're 40, 35, 30 to go and find a family man. All right, but that's not the way of our Father, man. But the way of Satan is seductive, but it produces a crappy outcome. And that was just one example. And even just to get more personal, man. Satan seduced a lot of us, a lot of brothers with filth on the internet, right? Let me get the scripture right quick. Vengeance of his temple, Tobit 14 and 12. And when Anna, his mother, was dead, he buried her with his father. But Tobias departed with his wife and son to Ecbatane to Raguel, his father-in-law, where he became old with honor. And he buried his father and mother-in-law honorably, and he inherited their substance and his father Tobias, the water brother. But Tobias inherited his father-in-law's substance and his father's substance. All right? Because we're not supposed to be corporate wage slaves. You're not supposed to work for Esau for 40 years, retire, and live for about 5 years and die. No. When you get married, because take Esau out the equation to understand how to maintain your nation, man. Through the laws, navigating through the laws, statutes, and commandments, man. All right, once you get with a woman, it's not because y'all swiped on Tinder and both of y'all were sexually attracted to each other. Y'all got drunk, or she might have got high, y'all fucked, and y'all didn't even know anything about each other. We had arranged marriages, but there was nation building. We didn't have no goddamn casual dating until after y'all fucked or have sex. Then somebody ghost somebody, all right? Or she got her niggas in. Nah, man. Getting with a woman, that was a power move, man. All right? Like I said, we weren't no corporate wage slaves, so we worked to pay bills, man. The way of the wicked seduces them, but the seduction comes with a crappy outcome, man. And brothers don't have to actually comment on the comment board about the statement I'm about to make. But how many brothers have, if you would have known when you was 12, 13 years old, what the filth on the internet has done, would do to you in the future, you know how many brothers got erectile dysfunction in their 20s and 30s based on being seduced to watching some BS on the internet when it was like 10? Satan created that, man. But when you were your youthful lust, it led you to watching that shit, but it gave a crappy outcome, man. All right? It's always, anytime you go Esau's way, it's always promising, and it sounds exciting and stimulating, but it's a crappy outcome. Esau glorifies street niggas, man, to where a lot of our women, they get street niggas, but look at the outcome, man. It's no building. Nobody's building. Esau deified careers and being successful to our women, but look at their outcome. All right? Single parents struggling. So many women, this is new thing, so many Evite women, they all into this free spirit, ancestor, all this stuff, and they choose quote-unquote polyamory, but you struggling financially. You refuse to get under one man's program, but you rather have all these sexual partners and leave your son or daughter basically being a bastard, man. All right? The way of the wicked seduced you, man. All right? That's why it says in Nahum, the nations have drunk enough for wine, therefore the nations are mad. Because Esau pulled a Cardi B on you, man. They enchanted you, all right? And you went to sleep and woke up to your shit missing, all right? Your substance missing, man. That's why I said, give not thy strength to a woman to set her foot upon thy substance. That woman, from a spiritual perspective, is the philosophy of Esau Edom, that great whore of Babylon. Because through her philosophies, she set her foot upon our substance, man. She was able to overthrow us through enchantments through her philosophies. That's why from the time of we've been released to slavery to now, we never elevated. We only been assimilated into Esau's kingdom, man. You know, so like I said, the way of the wicked seduced you, but the nature of Esau is anytime he seduce you with something, it's always going to engender a crappy outcome, man. Street culture from the 99 to the 2000, all right? And when I said about the comment boards, I was only talking about that particular topic with the internet because, you don't have to put your personal business out. But we all know that that's a common problem from that seductive habit, all right, that it usually produces sexual impotence in real time, man, all right? But even street culture, that was seductive, man. Growing up watching BET, watching a Jeezy video, don't you know that was a trap? Did the scripture not say Esau was a cunning hunter? All right, Esau, he baited you in through a lifestyle that through selling drugs, all right, being a street nigga, and he had like a Jeezy, then he had like little, half naked women twerking by some Maybach or some shit, right? That was bait. That was nigga bait per se, man. That was bait, man. He was baiting you into a lifestyle to ensnare you into his prison industrial complex. All right? The Most High didn't create our heritage to counsel each other, He didn't create a heritage to cancel ourselves out, man. All right, nigga culture cancels out our existence. The feminist movement cancels out our existence. The Most High created our heritage to proliferate our existence, man. Because did not the scripture say, "Be fruitful and multiply"? All right. Did not the scripture say, "Be fruitful and multiply," man? All right. Another way, fast food, man. My grandma told me, I think it was back in the 70s when fast food first came to town, when McDonald's first opened up, the line was backed up to the streets, man. Might have been like a mile long. I could be exaggerating, but I think she said the line in the McDonald's line was backed up to the street. All right, when McDonald's first opened, she remembered that, you know, and but look at the outcome. 50 years later, look at the outcome of having the convenience of fast food, and it is seductive, man, because they seduce you with convenience. They seduce you with cheap prices, man, as opposed to getting off work, preparing groceries, cooking for your kids. No, you just run through the drive-through. But look at what they produce within a span of 50 years. High blood pressure, diabetes, heart attack. All right? All right? So the way of the wicked is seductive and it's enchanting, but it always produces a crappy outcome, man. It never fails, man. It always produces equality. Equality, right? Saying that men and women are equal, all right? How many women have left their husbands because only he had another woman? Culturally, we can have another woman. Just to end up with a man that already has, they'll leave that man, they'll leave their husband, they had another woman, just to either A, find themselves in all these situationships playing the field, or B, be the so-called side woman to a man that already has a woman. It's a crappy outcome. At least on the first situation, y'all were inside of a house, but now you out here struggling because you had a philosophy that men can't do the same things that you can't do, man. The way of the wicked seduced you and it led you to a crappy outcome, man. All right? The average so-called black woman has $5 in her bank account, man. That's the result of the feminist movement. 80% of so-called black women will never be married, man. Which we don't do paperwork and all that. But it is the point that's being made, man. It represents that crappy outcome, man. All right? So many Israelite men are in prison or dead because of street culture. And most of them wasn't forced to do it. A lot of Israelite men did have their dads in their life. Or they did have, you know, positive or, you know, upright men in their life, man. But they were seduced by a culture. They were seduced by street culture, man. But who put that bait in their minds like that? Esau, Edom. And a lot of YouTubers who get on women, they don't get on the culprit that engineered our women. They don't get on the mastermind behind the folly, man. All right? All right, but we have to understand this, that the way of the wicked is seductive and it always leads to a mediocre, crappy outcome, man. It always leads to a mediocre. That's why the scripture says, marvel not the work of evildoers, man. All right, because the way of sin is what? Death. But Esau promotes sin like that's the way to go. All right? All you hear in the rap song is what? Adultery and murder. That's pretty much it. Adultery, sorcery in the form of drug dealing, and murder. All right? Because he wants you to be a Machiavellian. He wants you to be like the bourgeois. He wants you to be cutthroat to get to the top, man. All right? All right, so the so-called Israelite, not even the so-called black man, so-called Hispanic and Native American man, they were seduced by Christianity, Roman Catholicism. They were seduced also by gang culture. A lot of so-called Native Americans, I just left Choctaw, Mississippi. All right, a lot of so-called Native Americans, they have diabetes and high blood pressure, ultimately because of the curses, but that was manifested through a poor diet, man. They were seduced into the commercial Western diet that shocked their bodies, man. Processed food was not to be ingested by an Israelite body. All right, and then they don't keep the laws. Okay. If Esau was so concerned about your health, why does he put the poorest grade of food in the environments that Israel inhabits, man? if he's so concerned about your health all of a sudden, man. The way of the wicked seduce you, man. Not you, but me too. That's why the Most High wants us to unplug from this hole, man, so we can detox from her enchantments, man. All right? But, you know, I'm just going to draw this live stream to a close, and I hope you brothers and sisters were edified. Once again, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Shem Shai, by Shem Kakodash, double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone Rule Well. Peace and blessings to us, David the elect, Abba Baal, Kam Yashala, Shalom.